gold or honey, he describes that honey can be melted even at a very low temperature. It's naturally soft. So naturally soft-hearted people. We see many, many devotees who come and they don't have any interest in management or politics or any of that stuff. You know, they just want to love Krishna and serve him. They're very soft-hearted. And they very easily express what is in their hearts. You know, if something happens, they become very jubilant, or they begin to cry, or they become, you know, very easily influenced by the conditions, and they express whatever is on their heart. You know immediately what they're feeling. It doesn't require any detective work, you know. It's immediately expressed. And then there are others who are more like, you know, trying to keep an even, steady expression and not be so much moved or not so expressive of the movements of their heart. So we see these different kinds of people. And it's not that one is good or one is bad or, you know, anything like that. They're just different types of devotees. So the residents of Vrindavan are all very soft-hearted. In Vrindavan, as soon as anything happens, the devotees immediately express their feelings. And they can do that because they have full confidence in Krishna protecting them. You know, so they don't have to hold back their feelings. There's no diplomacy or politics or any deception or any plots or anything like this. They're just simple cowherd people. So they don't have to worry. They're so pure, you know, that even if there's some, you know, stuff going on with Radharani's family and all of this, you know, it's like an open secret. Everybody knows about it, and, you know, they just kind of go along, and nobody really gets, you know, completely bent out of shape about it. They just express whatever's on their hearts, and that's it. As soon as things change, then it's over, and they move on to the next thing, like that. Whereas other people are more complex, you know, like people like the Jadus, kings, and people like this. They're more involved in diplomatic and, you know, exchanges of power and negotiations and things like this. And so they don't always express what's on. I mean, Bhishma is the perfect example. Bhishma, you know, he's such a great warrior, king, you know, and he had made this vow very early on in his life that he would not marry. And this was done for the pleasure of his father, so his father could marry this nice young girl. And you know, he was a very, very great soul. And at the end of his life, even though he was very much suffering because of being on the bed of arrows, still he gave so much kind advice to King Yudhishthira, you know, who basically had defeated him and his side due to the influence of Krishna. And Krishna was right there, you know, everybody was right there. But he didn't withhold any of his knowledge. See? This proves a great personality. Great personality, when it's time to give, they give unrestrictedly. See, when it's time to fight, they fight with everything they've got. You know. But when it's time to be soft-hearted, when Krishna is present and like that, then they're completely open and giving and sharing everything like that. See? So actually this is our mood. Yeah. We don't always express what's deep in our hearts because, you know, it would be difficult for most people to understand. You know, if you're having a hard time understanding this, then, you know, what can I say? But when it's time for sharing this knowledge, then we want to give very generously to everyone. Because this knowledge is so important for the perfection of human life. So everyone should take up this nectar of devotion with great seriousness and really endeavor to try to perfect their spiritual lives. Now let's see, I think we only have 5 chapters to go. No, less than that. 32, 3, 4. That's only 3 chapters to go. Oh boy, and they're short ones too. Huh?
Third wave. 3 more chapters go.
Yeah, then we'll be halfway through Nectar of Devotion, complete the 2nd wave. So, well, we're going to make it. I was worried that we weren't going to complete the 2nd wave before I leave, because there's going to be a bit of a break while we get established in India. And while I'm traveling and getting set up and everything, then the devotees here will continue the evening darshan, so you don't have to worry. They're going to continue without a break. Maybe from India after a while. But somehow or other, we will keep the nectar flowing here. So, are there any questions?
I have a question about Radharani's heart. It seems to me that because she's expert in serving Krishna, she displays both soft and golden hearted. I want to see if this is a correct understanding. When Radha is kind of angry with Krishna, or she wants to restrict access to her, she displays this golden, and this is when there's all this mention about, oh, Radha is the queen of Vrindavan, and you should offer your obeisances to her, and like that. But then when Krishna does something like overwhelming to Radha's emotions, she can't basically control that, and then she becomes soft-hearted, and then this is when Mahabhava and all this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Krishna is expert at melting her heart.
Well, that's what he does. That's his job, right?
Right.
And she always tries not to be melted, but basically it's very hard.
Mm. Who can resist Krishna? He's so charming. Any questions from the internet?
There's a question from Prasad. Dear Babaji, please accept my humble obeisances. Bhishma's father gave him a boon that he can choose the time of death. But Bhishma's father, Shantanu didn't lead an austere life. He liked a fisherwoman. My question is, how could people in that age have the potential to give boons without leading an austere life?
Well, in other ways, he had led an austere life. He was a first-class kshatriya, and he had enormous qualifications in devotional service. It's just that he had this weakness for women, which is very common among kshatriyas, because they're passionate. So Maharaj Shantanu was struck by the beauty of this fisherman's daughter. Actually, I think she was some demigoddess and was just found by the fisherman. She wasn't actually his daughter, but she was a great soul also. So it's naturally that the great souls would be attracted to one another. Another point is that Mahabharata, in general, is written on the platform of Karmakanda. And in Karmakanda, one's own enjoyment is a significant aim of life. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are the aims, four aims of the karma kanda. And this attitude is, or mood, is criticized in the literature of devotional service, like Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Narada criticizes Vyasadeva that you have presented the path of knowledge in the Vedic literatures in such a way as to encourage people to perform religious activities for material benefits. And he says, actually, this is condemned. This is unreasonable, because the actual aim of the Vedas, of course, is self-realization and not material benefits. So, of course, it's a trick, it's a device, because people